Hey there, welcome to another episode. This is Shaf, business development and sales and marketing strategist. I've been in executive sales for the last decade plus. I'm just here to share how do you get over rejection and how do you deal with rejection in sales. And so you might be in a place right now where you're feeling down and beaten by prospects. You've gotten lots of no's. You're really not feeling it anymore. What do you actually do? Now, in my decade plus of executive sales and sales experience, it has happened more times than I can actually count on my hands. And when you get to this stage, you really just naturally deal with rejection. It is very much a part of the sales profession and a part of business as an entrepreneur as well. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, sales rejection is part of the game, but if you're new to sales, it can really feel personal and it can really feel discouraging. The key is actually to develop resilience, learn from each experience, refine your approach. And I thought I'd share some strategies around how you can actually handle rejection effectively. The first thing I go to is number one, reframe rejection as redirection. Instead of seeing no as the be all and end all, and no being failure. Instead of that, I want you to try and view as feedback. Why is the client actually saying no? Why are they pushing back? Did you not maybe qualify them early enough? Did you maybe find that it wasn't quite the right timing for them or the right sort of solution? So every no, because of this, is a step closer to getting a yes. Because if you're smart enough after getting a few no's in a row, say you get 3 or 4 no's in a row, you're going to stop and go, hold on. Why is this happening? Is it price? Is it the service? Is it the solution? Is it the right fit or the wrong fit? I really want you to start thinking of sales and your profession, your job in sales, whether you're working or you own a business, you're an entrepreneur, it is actually matchmaking. You're finding the right fit and alignment. And nobody in 2025, nobody's here to actually force a deal because that doesn't work. The 1990s were rife with hard sales being quite popular, and just to get rid of the salesperson, often people would give in and say yes and take the product or service. But that doesn't work anymore. In 2025, the market is way more democratized than it used to be in the 1990s. And pretty much anyone can go and find out about anything from anywhere these days. So it is really about alignment and getting the right fit. The second thing that you need to start doing is detach the emotion from the outcome itself. Now, I know everybody wants to get some runs on the board, and especially when you've had a number of no's or you've had prospects reject meetings, reject deals, and it's happened consecutively, your first reaction is, I desperately need to get a client on board, a client signed up. And because of desperation, you'll find what you do will be very much counterintuitive to actually result in the outcome. So once you detach the outcome from the emotion, it will result in you taking rejection not so much personally anymore. Reframe it to think that it is about the offer, the timing, or the need, and it's not you personally. So don't take it personally. You need to maintain the mindset that you are here to provide value, and your job is to simply filter out the right clients. And usually that strategy, especially when you are no longer desperate, works better than when you are desperate. The more desperate you are, the more you'll feel like you need to clutch at straws and grab the next deal, then grab the next client, and it just won't work. In my experience, yes, I have been there, done that. I call it desperation breath. And most people, most business owners, most clients, most professionals can smell that And they will, simply because you feel desperate and they can see the desperation in your voice, in your face, they don't want anything to do with you. It's a massive red flag for them. The third thing that I'd like you to focus on is actually analyze and learn from each rejection. Ask yourself, was it the pitch? Was the prospect ready or not? How ready were they? Was it the price? If you're trying to pitch a $25,000 product or service to a small business who only employs 2 people, and this particular business only makes a $500,000 a year in revenue, your $25,000 product makes for a big chunk of their revenue, actually almost around 5% of their entire revenue stream for one single product or service. And now that is something very expensive. So I really want you to have a look at the price and how well that is matched. So their readiness, their authority to make these decisions, their desire to make these decisions, the price and the benefit that they're going to receive. When you get a no, one of the things that you can actually do, and I've done this many times before, is ask your prospects for feedback. Just be like, hey, Brian, look, I understand you guys are not in the position to sign up for this particular service or product right now, but I need to know for my own feedback as to what are your reasons why you have declined to go ahead. And you will sometimes be surprised with the answers. There are things in there that you never thought of. Then you can keep a mental note of why they said no and why that particular prospect said no and why this particular prospect said no. Next up, work towards developing a resilient mindset. Rejection is very much a part of the success, and you need to start believing that it's very much a part of the job. You will get 100 no's before you get 5 yeses. Your conversion rates on average may very well be for you, for your products and your services, or the products and services of the business or company you work for, might only sit at about 5%. That's 5 yeses out of 100. 100 no's, mind you. The take-home message is you are going to get a vast majority of no's compared to a small minority of yeses. But over time, you're going to create and build that customer base so that maybe you're going to get 5 yeses a month, 5 deals a month. Multiply that by 8 months of the year that you actually spend time doing business development, whether it's your business, whether it's you working as a sales professional in your role. So that gives you roughly 40 customers, 40 new clients a year that you're actually going to work with. And so you had to go through almost 400 no's to get your 40 new customers a year. So inherently, you are going to be rejected at lots and lots of different places. So don't take it personally. Study the successful people in your organization, in your line of work. If you go and study the biggest and brightest, our most well-known CEOs, our most well-known people from Shark Tank and places like that, they all faced rejection. For example, Canva is an Australian company. The founders are Australian anyway. And Canva went through some 100 proposals and pitches to investors. I think it was close to 100 or maybe even 200 for that fact. And they all said no, but one yes for funding, at least for them, got them to the steps and stepping stones to where they are today. So the most successful people always have dealt with rejection. Focus on the numbers. It's number 5. Focus on the numbers. Sales is a numbers game. It doesn't matter if you are selling to consumers, if you are selling to businesses. Sales is a numbers game. My personal average is about a 10% conversion rate, which is fairly good. And it means that 90% of the time I'm getting no's. The 10% that do say yes then provide for new business development revenue. Revenue targets and new business development revenue is a whole other topic on its own, which might be the next one. But for now, You need to go and work out, set some goals for how many calls you need to make, how many emails you need to send, how many conversations you need to have to get closed deals. So from end to end, how many? For me, it averages about 10%. So I can start with a list of 100, and I know at the end, roughly about 10 out of that 100 are actually going to say yes. Those are my numbers. Your numbers might be a little bit different, but you can then build out KPIs around where you should be performing at, where you are at right now, and where you should be performing at. Speaking of which, number 6, keep your pipeline full. A loaded pipeline prevents you from fixating on a single prospect. So I probably have about 20 to 30 prospects in my pipeline they range anywhere between someone who's somewhat interested to very interested to almost ready to sign the deal. And that's a rolling pipeline each month. So there's always, month in, month out, there's always time that has to be spent on business development, on cold calls, emails, conversations, inbound leads. Keeping that pipeline full allows me to not so much focus on 1 or 2 or 3 select prospects that I need to have deals from. Rather, I've got about 20 or 25 in my pipeline that I can rely on to convert over during the month. And mind you, business to business sales, lots of times the sales cycles are 3, 6, 8, 9 months in the making. That's how long they take. And in fact, there was a deal that I closed last week, and we have been going back and forth every now and then for over 2 years. So 2 years in my sales pipeline. It's there. We made those connections. The timing wasn't right at the time when we first had a conversation, but we did. And as a result, timing worked out. And as a result, 2 years down the track, this is when we signed the deal. So it does take time. Number 7, refine your pitch and objection handling. So active listening plays a very much a key part to address concerns early, and you should be genuinely addressing concerns, not just to sugarcoat them. And if there's no alignment between what you do and what your client does and the benefit that they're going to get, then be the first person to say, hey, look, I don't think this is for you. You don't want to waste any more time with them, and you don't want your time wasted. They don't want their time wasted either. And it means you can move on to the next best prospect as soon as possible. Try and role play common objections with someone, and it takes practice. So objection handling and qualifying and refining your pitch, it doesn't happen overnight. You will get better and better at it, step by step, one at a time. You're probably a beginner if you're watching this, and as a result, there are lots of different things that are to be learned, and some of them you can learn them from ebooks, from guides, from courses, and other things you're going to learn from them from actually practicing. And you are going to fall down. You're going to have to learn how to pick yourself up. Number 8, celebrate the small wins. A successful call, a follow-up booked, a meeting booked. Maybe you're going to have your first ever meeting booked with a marketing manager or a director. Celebrate it, because obviously that took some numbers, that took a lot of effort to convert them into a meeting. That's the first step usually. So those small wins add up to the big wins. Build up that momentum, and it will help you feel good about yourself that you booked 10 meetings this week. Maybe 1 out of the 10 meetings is actually going to strongly consider, and the product and service is the right fit for them at this particular instance, at this particular stage. So celebrate that win and own it when celebrating that win. Number 9, stay motivated. So I find taking and having rest to completely decompress. It's been a busy week. You've had lots of no's this week. Just hasn't worked. Close the laptop, put it away, no emails, nothing client related over the weekend. Go and rest, go to your favorite, I don't know, fishing spot, go out to dinner, lunch, whatever might please you. And this in turn will help you stay motivated so you can go back and have a red hot crack at it again. Read some books around motivation. There's lots of them, and I know social media is full of it too. Lots of motivational quotes in there, but I really think motivation has to come from the heart. So what's your goal? Is it that you're going to use sales to bring in more revenue for your business? What does that revenue mean? Does it mean that you're going to be able to expand your business out? Or does it mean you can now live a better life in a bigger house? You have the buying power for a new car. What do new clients and new business actually mean to you? What can you convert it to? What would you like to convert it into? Likewise, you might just be starting out in sales if you're watching this. And as a result, what's the goal? Is it the next job you want to go to? Is that the goal? So knowing what your goals are going to be really, really matter. Keep a very solid eye on those goals, and then you're going to work a way out to actually achieve those goals. Number 10, remember that the right people will buy. You will find, even though the world has gotten more and more digitized, there's more and more short form content on the internet, on Instagram, on Facebook. There's so much noise out there. End of the day, people buy from people, and the right people will buy. Not every single prospect is a fit, and that's fine. You're going to have to live with it. Focus on those and hone in on those who will truly benefit from what you offer, right? Now, if you would like help crafting a system that's going to help you fill up your pipeline, help you have a steady income using sales as one of the methods to gain new clients, to get new dollars in the bank account, then I do have a course. There is a one-on-one course available where we spend lots of one-on-one time to particularly find what is going to make the best and the biggest difference to you. And I also have something that's self-paced as well, which you can go through on your own. So it's available in the links here, and I'll also pin them in the comments. And if you wish to reach out to me, need some help around this, have any questions, queries. Now I've been doing this for more than a decade. I'm at a level where I'm at executive level sales. That involves complex contracts, complex decisions, lots of decision makers. It's primarily business to business, but I've also done e-commerce and retail sales. And end of the day, the psychology behind getting people to follow you on social media, making sales and business development principles are all the same. So do reach out. Now, I want to thank you for watching this episode, and I really hope it helps you. Let me know in the comments if it does, and any thoughts that you have around how you might deal with rejection in sales and as a profession. Cool. You have a lovely day, and we'll see you next time.